Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is my first ever YouTube video. My name is Kimberly. I am hoping to do a video channel about cash stuffing, about being good stewards of the blessings that we have received, and I'm not sure, maybe a few other things. We'll see as time goes on. I actually am married. I live in the beautiful Catskills in New York. My husband and I have 7 kids. We have 9 grandkids. He's a pastor, I'm a nurse, and so we are trying to do what needs to be done right here where we are. And so I'm calling my channel This Corner of the Kingdom, where we do work for ourselves and for others, and all hopefully in the service of God. So I thought that I would start my videos with a scripture verse. And so my scripture verse for today is Jeremiah 29:11. And it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper and not harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." And so if cash stuffing is something that you are interested in, please stick around. I am going to, for this very first video, introduce my cash stuffing system. And hopefully tomorrow I will be doing an actual cash stuffing video. So let's get to it. I wanted to start first of all with my wallet. And so I have this set up with just a few envelopes. The first one is gas. My husband and I budget about $350 a month for gas, and that is because we both have a long commute round trip. So the plan will be to put probably a week's worth of gas money in here at a time, like $40, $50. And I should preface all of this by saying I have revamped my whole envelope system. And so there is not a lot of cash in most of these because I kind of pulled it all out and want to start from fresh. I think this gas envelope does have a little bit of money left. Nope, I fibbed, no money at all. So we will be stuffing that tomorrow night when I get money out of my bank from this paycheck. Next is outreach, and this is something you'll hear a lot about on this channel. Bob and I do street outreach with the homeless and addicted communities in Poughkeepsie. We go every Saturday, and so we do budget money to be able to get some items that those folks may need. Spending, this is new to me, this envelope, and so my idea is that if I have something that I need to buy that isn't captured in any of my other envelopes, that this would be where that money would come from. Bank, this is actually for money that is going back to the bank when I pull it out of my sinking funds, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to it. So when I have a big bill that's due, for example, our oil bill, after I've saved it in my sinking fund and it's time to pay that bill, I'll put it in here till I take it to the bank and deposit it. Buffer, this is probably not going to have a lot in, maybe $5, maybe $10 a pay. And this is for if I overspend on something, like for example, I catch a really good buy for some outreach items, I may dip into the buffer to be able to buy some of those items. And then groceries, this is, I primarily shop online and do curbside pickup. This would be for items that I may stop at the store on the way home from work, or if we run out of bread or something like that. That's what this cash would be. And giving is for if I see someone who needs help. Specifically, I try to keep some ones in here so that I can pull them out if I see someone on the street who's looking for a hand, and I could give this to them as well. I do tend to carry blessing bags in my car, and probably on a future video you'll see a little more about that because that is what I certainly prefer to give to people. So going into my first binder, and I call this my bills binder, and this is Bill's sinking fund, really. As I mentioned, I will pull money out for oil and put it aside every time I get paid. I do have a tracker back here, and I do like to take about $65 a pay out We've kind of figured out what our oil bill is for the year and divided it up. And we do adjust that periodically depending on oil prices, if they go up or down. I do have a little money in here, not a lot, because we did just get a tank of oil. Next, I have utilities gas, and I kind of specified this because we do use propane just for cooking, and we don't fill very often at all, but I do want to be keeping some money aside for this. So my idea is that I'm probably going to put about $25 a month in here. And again, we recently got oil, or got gas, so there is not a lot left in here. I think I just have a month's worth of $25 in here for that. But as I mentioned, I'll pull this money out and put it in my bank envelope in my wallet to take it to the bank when those bills come due. Terminix, we do have Terminix do regular servicing here, so I do put money aside for that. Living in the mountains, we do have ticks, needless to say. We also had some bees a couple of years ago, so we just have them on a maintenance program, and so I do budget for that. I have here that I'm going to be budgeting $25 per pay, or about $50 a month. Lawn maintenance, this is for people to mow for us in the summer or to plow for us in the winter. We're old people, so it's very difficult for either Bob or I to do that, so I do fill this. It is down to $100 because we have had some snow, so I do need to start beefing that up. Transportation maintenance, this obviously is for car maintenance. We did recently have a car repair, so there's only $20 in here right now. Housing, I'm not entirely sure what this is going to be. I have it slated sort of for house maintenance. I do have a separate fund that I'll talk about in a little bit, but I'm thinking that this would be like if we had a repair that was due. We did just have some electrical work done, so I did pull some money out of here. And so that's kind of going to be figured out as I go forward, because this is a new envelope to me. Entertainment, I can assure you there's not a whole lot of entertainment going on here in the mountains, but we do have Prime Video, and so I budget $14 a month so that when it is due at the end of the year, I have that money to pay. Debt is a new envelope to me, and I have some ideas how I'm going to use this. For example, when I empty my wallet at the end of the week, anything that's left except for giving, I'm thinking I'm going to put some in my penny jar challenge, and I'm probably going to put some in here so that we can add it to some debt that we are paying off. We are trying to pay off our car and our mortgage early, so we again will see how that works out as the year goes on. Next, I have my holidays binder. And so this binder is also new. I decided that I wanted to be a little more intentional about saving for the holidays. And so, sorry, that has a terrible glare on it. I've divided this up into, like, this one is Valentine's and Easter, summer holidays, food, and Christmas. So I want to talk about that just a little bit. So Valentine's and Easter, as I mentioned, we do have 9 grandkids. We don't do much for Valentine's Day, but for Easter, of course, I do like to get the kids and the grandkids. Obviously, I make Easter baskets for all of them, and this also would be for Easter dinner, so that it isn't quite so much money. At one time of interest, Ash Wednesday falls on Valentine's Day this year. I don't recall that ever happening in my memory. And so Easter is early, I believe the last week in March, if I'm not mistaken. So I will be starting to stuff this kind of aggressively. Summer holidays, we do love to grill on our deck. So this will be for things like propane for my gas grill, if we want to have a picnic, for the items for that. So I'll just be starting to put some money away for that to see how much we would need for the summer. Maybe for some lawn chairs or some yard toys if the grandkids come, whatever. So we will see what this turns out to be. This is food for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I'll be stuffing this pretty heavily because these are our two biggest meals in terms of money. So I do want to make sure that I have those well stocked over the year. This says Christmas event. My sister and I were able to get our families together this year to celebrate Christmas. And we actually, because everybody's kind of scattered, we met at a beautiful little restaurant in the Poconos, and we split the cost, of course, for everyone for dinner and dessert, and we just had a lovely time. So we're already planning on next year, so this will be going saving some money towards that event. And then, of course, last in here is Christmas shopping. As I mentioned, 7 kids, 9 grandkids, significant others, others. So we will stock this pretty aggressively. I did do that this year, and it certainly made Christmas much, much, much less stressful. What I do is I set up an amount that we spend on each child, on each grandchild, and then the assorted other people. And I just divide that up by 26 pay periods, and that is what I stuff into this envelope. So that is my holiday binder. And then next, I kind of call this my family binder. I don't know if that's a good name for it or not. But I decided to be more intentional about birthday gifts this year. So I have divided our birthdays up into 4-month increments. So this envelope will be January, February, March. Fortunately, my January birthdays are only one, and I actually covered that when I did Christmas this year. So this will be for February birthdays. And March, I believe I have several February and 2 March. This one will be this, unfortunately, I didn't have another birthday word. So this will be April, May, June, July in this envelope. And then, did I say that right? I did not. May, June, July, August. And then this will be September, October, November, December in here. And so I've listed out the birthdays for each month on one tracker, and then I will be putting the money that I'm putting in on here. I will likely have to adjust this as the year goes on because I'm not entirely sure that I have it figured out because I'm kind of jammed up at the beginning of the year here. So we'll see how that works out. Education, we do put money aside every paycheck for, we have one grandson in college. We have a granddaughter who will be going to college next year. And she is taking college level courses now, which the tuition has to be paid. And we also help our younger grandkids out by putting money on their lunch account. So I always keep money in here, and we disperse it out when the time's appropriate. Clothing, this just because we tend to wear our clothing for a long time, but I know that I'm going to need shoes. Bob is soon going to need a new suit, so we will start to stuff this again. We recently had bought some clothing, so there's nothing in this envelope right now. Health, I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing with this one either. I'm thinking to use it for the co-pays on our medications. So I'm going to start stuffing that one in February because we already have all of our January meds. So I don't know, maybe I'll put a little bit in this week for this one. I'm not sure yet. So to be continued on that. Beauty, well, we don't do a lot for beauty here, but Bob and I do need haircuts. So obviously I'll start to stuff this. We did recently have haircuts, so this is empty right now. And gas, this will be where we put the bulk of the money. I don't like to walk around with a lot of cash in my wallet, so the bulk of the money for gas will go in here, and we'll simply pull it out when we are ready to fill up. And then groceries, again, this will be the bulk of the money so that I don't have to carry a lot of cash in my wallet, but I'll probably keep $10, $15 with me and then just refill as I need to from that wallet. And then last but not least, we have our sinking funds that are not really bills, just funds per se. So this is pets. We do have 5 fur babies in this house. We have Cashmere, Bailey, Noah, Micah, and Lo. And so this would be, they are all cats. This would be for things like litter and treats. We did just get litter. We also just got treats, so there's only a little bit left in here. This says pet emergency. I don't know how well you can see that on there. This would be obviously for an emergency visit to the vet, but really any vet visit. Unfortunately, we recently had to make a visit to the vet with our little dog who went to the Rainbow Bridge. So we don't have a lot left in this envelope, but I will start to bulk that back up again. In the time that you have a vet emergency, it's always a whole lot less stressful if you don't have to worry about the financial piece of it. So that is what this will be for. This one says goals, and then I put behind it pool. I would like to put a pool in our yard this year. We sit on a beautiful acre of land, and I envision lots of days laying by the pool, soaking up the sun. So I don't know if it will happen this summer, but we certainly have started saving for it. And I think that you're so much more able to focus on your savings and being disciplined in your finances and being good stewards of what you've gotten is if you have a real goal in mind. So this is one of ours. This does say savings. It's actually not a savings per se. This is, I call this my in-house emergency fund, meaning that it's not money that we have in the bank in case one of us wouldn't be able to work, but it is money that we can spend on big repairs in our house, which we did just have several very big repairs. And so this is very depleted now, down to $20, but I will hopefully be filling that back up very quickly. This is home remodel. And so while we're not planning on remodeling per se, I would like to paint. I would like to get some new laminate floors at some point. So not even in the planning stages yet, except for planning for the financial piece of it. And so that is what this envelope is for here. And that is it. That is all of my cash binders or cash envelopes for this video. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope that you will consider liking and subscribing. And I hope that you will come back in a few days to see me do an actual cash stuffing. Thanks so much and have a fabulous rest of your Sunday.